Hello.
We're back with what turned into this little mini series of just rating character cards
Yeah.
with my friend Hime, good friend of the server and good all-around hoster.
Hello.
Maybe some more people will come later. I don't know.
Yeah. Right now it's just us two, though. There's a bit of an echo.
Oh, sorry. That's my. I keep forgetting that my speakers come on when they're not supposed to.
No worries. Alright. Last time we left off starting at the Danganronpa 3 anime characters.
I don't have much love for a lot of these characters, so I'm interested in seeing what you think.
Yeah. I do feel like there are some pretty powerful abilities throughout them, but let's get started with... It's a fine ability. Daisaku. You may choose another living player. If that player is not targeted by the Blacken tonight, they draw an item card during the next midday period. So, pretty much free card draw.
Free
Which
card
is always
draw
a
in
food.
most situations.
Yeah. It has to be another player, so this is more of a selfless card.
Right.
In those situations, though, it's a fine card. It's a fine card draw. I'm gonna put it...
I'd say solid B.
Yeah, B plus next to Hajime. Like, it's gonna lead to about the same amount of cards being drawn. Next up, Munakata. You will die.
Yeah,
Ability.
likely.
Discard 2 cards. Your vote now counts as 2 votes for this trial. If you have to have a discard 2 cost, ability cannot be copied or refreshed. You know it's a powerful, powerful ability.
Well,
and it is.
Votes
It's a
are the
guaranteed
be
super
all
strategy
end
guide.
all. Yeah, it is a built-in strategy guide, but it is very difficult to get off without support.
Yeah, because people will target you with discard effects. They will...
Or straight up kill you.
Yeah, straight up kill you. If you survive till the end where your votes count, it's already suspicious. But honestly, I can't put it any lower. Like, it has to be at least B tier, because it's just a strong effect. It's a guaranteed strategy guide every game if you can get it.
Yeah, provided you survive that long.
Provided you survive.
I would say A minus. Would probably be higher if it wasn't so hard to get.
Yeah.
Which by
exactly.
necessity it has to be.
Yeah. Chief's future. The Housekeeper Saw. You appear on the side of hope regardless of your roll card. Passive. Kyosuke may draw an item card each midday as long as you're alive. When you die, he discards his hand. So this is a good passive to work with the previous one. Obviously, they get to draw cards, so discard effects aren't as painful. But you show on hope no matter what. Here's the thing, right? If you're a despair that isn't the blackened, you want to show as despair, so you take votes away.
Well, Chisa being on the table, like, how should I put this? People are always thinking about what you could be. Like, even if you show as hope, people are still trying to figure out if you're despair or not.
Yeah.
Whereas it would be different if you just had some effect that made you show on hope.
True.
Like, if you're actually hope, this ability does nothing. If you're despair, then you can kind of work with, like, people not knowing what you are.
If you're the hope shows despair, then this kind of messes with things a bit.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting ability, I'll say.
Like, it's one of the only abilities that do kind of roll showing kind of things. Because as a rule, I don't want stuff in the game that is just as simple as it messes with an investigation, because if there's no way to find out what got messed with, or, well, I mean, even if there was, until that point, then any investigations are kind of pointless, because you don't know. It turns investigations into 50-50 guesses. Exactly.
So, interesting ability. Big brain, obviously. I think it goes A-. Like, it changes the entire dynamic of the game. And whether it's for better or worse...
I would go maybe B+ instead.
Yeah, I can work with B+. Next to,
this is your tier list. I don't really have any...
Honestly,
I'm just saying that I think it's maybe not quite A-. I think it's B+.
I see her being next to Junko, and where your ability can either be really great or really terrible.
Right, yeah.
Just depends on how you play, how things go. Past Chisa.
This one's just fun.
It's the fun ability. Shuffle the discard pile back to the deck. You may quiz somebody with a trivia question. If they get it right, they draw 2 cards. So, draw 2 effect. This is...
I think this is an A+.
Yeah. You get to target somebody to draw 2, which could be signaling. You get to make a trivia question, which is just fun. Shuffle the discard back to the item deck. Congrats, now all the shards of hope and stuff are back.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just very powerful ability, A+.
This used to be every day, and it used to be the whole table.
Yeah, I am very glad it is not anymore. The Great Gozu. If you are killed by the Blackened, choose another player. They draw item cards up to their hand limit. If you choose Daisaku Bandai, their hand limit becomes 3 before they draw.
Pretty basic.
Yeah. You become a mini Future Foundation.
Yeah. Like, I mean, there's not really much more to say about it.
Yeah.
Like, solid B.
Yeah, it's like, I'll put it next to Daisaku, honestly. Just like a solid draw effect. Future Arc Munakata. You get to go to Brazil. On the day a player dies and reveals a roll card that wakes up and performs an action, you may copy and do that roll action that night. If multiple roll cards that fit this criteria reveal, you may copy one. So, this is a fun case. This is another one that kind of messes with rolls a bit, but not in a permanent way.
Mm-hmm. Like, the only situation I would see that this would not be that good is it depends on what the roll setup is, and it depends on what reveals and what your actual alignment is.
Like, best case scenario is like Ego or Togami VIP,
right?
Or like,
like if you're a hope roll and a despair roll reveals with this, you could still potentially get value out of it because, like,
you can mess with the despair.
Be a dice agent that does good things instead.
Yeah, or you could be a Monaco master that just bullies the person who's been messing with everyone.
Right.
Again, strong big brain ability. I think it's very role dependent, obviously, so I don't think A+. I think A- is solid, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now it's time for Rurika. Future Rurika. You may use this ability when another player is targeted by an item card or ability. You receive the effect instead of the original target. You cannot pass or receive cards from Seigo Kimura. So, this is it's an anti-redirect.
It's like reverse Nagito.
Yeah, exactly. It can be refreshed, obviously, so... It's just disruptive. It's like a... I kind of want to put it next to Byakuya.
Yeah, they kind of are similar.
Yeah. A- next to Byakuya. Past Ruruka. Choose a player that's trying to use the skill item. Negate the activation of the skill item. Played item cards go back in their hand and their ability is not used up. They may try again tomorrow, but not sooner. You cannot activate negations of permanent abilities. This is weird wording.
This one is just okay.
Yeah, it's like, oh, just go back. You don't get to do it now.
Yeah. Like, it's kind of like a little bit like Hifumi, but for everything, and it's more. It's not a negation. It's more like a delay, I guess.
Yeah. Which, granted, Despair side, you can just kill them with a delay.
You could, yeah.
I think it goes A- next to Hifumi. It's like delayed. It's just Hifumi delay, but you can use it on abilities.
I would say it goes lower than that, honestly.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I would say this is maybe B-.
Jeez, B- is like Mondo. I think that's B+.
Or maybe just a B.
Yeah.
This one doesn't get used very often.
Yeah.
This one barely ever gets used.
Yeah. You may use this ability when someone dies to the Blacken. Discard 1 or 2 item cards. Discard 1, they may speak. If you discard 2, they may speak and vote. So, I'm just gonna get another card out. Not that, but, Mikan's second state. Moving it over here for reference.
Yeah.
Mikan's second state only discards 1 card, and in exchange for the roll not revealing, they're still alive, so they get to play items, speak, and vote. And use abilities.
Right.
Meanwhile, to get the vote, you have to discard 2 for this Seiko.
I mean, I could see how you could say that Psycho is a bit worse.
Yeah. The roll revealing in a few cases where, like, if the ego dies, you obviously want it to be revealed. You want to use this one, right? But if you're just trying to keep hope votes on the board, and you want to, like, if somebody has a good ability, obviously, you want this one. Because then they can just stay alive.
Everything, yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if you play second state Mikan, you're not playing first state Mikan.
Yeah, and first state Mikan's already better for many reasons.
Yeah. Did we put her S tier?
High A.
Yeah.
She's like top of A+. For this... Yeah, it's like, if you discard 1, you pass Assault. If you discard 2, you pass a School Emblem 2.
I'd say it's something like a C+.
It's not bad. Like, letting people talk during debates is a pretty good thing. I think B- then.
Okay.
Like, it's power crept, obviously, by second state Mikan, but it's still useful. You can still use it.
I mean, yeah, it is strictly useful, yeah.
Yeah. Ryota, you may discard an item card to wake up and watch 1 investigation. You may watch multiple investigations if you discard multiple cards. Mod Emergency.
It is Mod Emergency.
This isn't the most creative card.
Nah.
You just change one of your cards to a Mon Emergency, and you can do it multiple times in the same night.
I mean, it's okay that some abilities are just built in this item card.
Some are built-in investigations. You look at, like, Ultra Toko, or like Shuichi Second State. It's like they just get to do the investigation. You can watch, which has its own merit. You can like confirm with them, but most times, don't you just want to do the investigation yourself so you can choose?
Yeah, there are other cards that just like Nagisa is you just do the investigation yourself.
Yeah.
I guess it's not as valuable to see someone else's investigation than it is to just do yourself.
Nagisa is low A+. I think, as much as I've been like talking bad about it, in the end, Mon Emergency is still a good item. I think that this goes A-. Probably next to... I like how the main comparison point I've been using is a G-Sick.
What do you mean?
Kiyotaka.
Oh, yeah.
I just looked at Kiyotaka and I was like, is it better or worse? But yeah, I think it's around that extra discussion time versus confirming information. Koichi time. Discard a card, choose somebody who has already used their single-use ability, it's refreshed. Alternatively, choose Jin or Kyoko. If they haven't used their ability, when they do use it, they choose 2 instead of 1. Again, a lot of these cards are just items, I found.
Yeah, like this is just Dangan Werewolf with extra steps.
It's cards with extra steps.
And refreshes are already kind of meh. Like,
yeah.
It is entirely dependent on the player setup, and a lot of times when I play a refresher, there's not really that many good options for me.
I do want to note, looking at Kyoko, First State Kyoko has a very good synergy with this.
Uh-huh.
You get to do 2 investigations after the first class trial. But obviously you can't always account for synergies happening. It's just something
also
I want to...
not dying in that case.
Yeah, also not dying.
I'd say this is just like a solid B.
Yeah, I agree. When it's good, it's good. It's a Dangan Werewolf. I'm always happy to see a Dangan Werewolf when I draw it.
Yeah, that is a fun card to have.
Yeah. Choose another player. Living player has more cards than you do. Both of you discard all item cards. If you choose Kyosuke, instead of discarding your cards, you may give them to him.
It's a Dream Island rocket.
Yeah, it's a Dream Island rocket.
But how powerful is it?
It is powerful. Making somebody discard their whole hand is a very good thing, because it just shuts down discard abilities. It shuts down almost a lot of the stuff.
And if you don't care about looking bad, then there's no drawback to it.
Exactly. It's the genre of, if you don't care about looking bad, it's great. I kind of want to put this next to Akane, since we were judging her second state.
Uh-huh.
Akane gets to steal a card, but this one's just discard everything. Miyaya. Once per day, you may allow one player to discard an item card. If they do, that player then chooses someone else to draw an item card. So, this is the case where a card got converted to a role with Therapist.
Yeah.
And when a card can be a role, you can tell that the card's at least pretty good.
I think it is, in some cases, better than straight-up card draw, because there are a lot of cases where you do want to discard.
Yeah, exactly. And then you choose Jotaro, and there you go. But, honestly, yeah. It's like great for signaling, great for card draw, great for card discard. You can get bad cards out of Hope's hands, and it can say something if you pick a Despair and they don't discard. You can get on edge.
Uh-huh. Well,
overall,
also somebody choosing not to discard could be that they have good cards. That's like a tell.
Exactly. So, honestly, it's a nice big brain ability. I'm going to put it up in A+ next to Kyo. Now, Future Seiko. The one that most people play. Pill Frenzy. Roll a dice and activate an effect. 1. Choose a player to draw a card. 2 to 4. Randomly discard a card from a player's hand. 5. You draw a card. 6. You cannot be targeted by the blackened tonight. So, half the time you get a positive effect, half the time you get a mean effect.
Uh-huh.
Note, this is already above V+, I think, because, like, choose somebody else, draw a card. I don't know. The fact that it's daily is great.
It is daily, but also random.
It is random, yes. Though I don't think that the randomness is too bad. At worst, you're just like a genocider show.
Right. I think that there was one game with Future Psycho where she repeatedly rolled 6s.
Exactly, and that's the draw of the character. You can win big. I'm gonna put her... Yeah, I'm gonna put her next to Kyoko. Both of them get card draw with roll dice.
Some roll dice abilities are just fun.
Yeah, exactly. Kazuo. Choose another player. Both of you reveal your item cards to the table. You must have at least one item card to use this ability. It's like Fat Gani, I guess. We're both... It's a double effect, but everyone gets to see, so it's inherently more hope-sided.
Yeah. Or it could be despair-sided, if you reveal something that the blackened would want to see.
True, but, like, everyone... I don't know, shared info is better for hope. Everybody knowing something is overall better for hope, since there are more hopes than despairs. I'm gonna put it next to Fat Kia. Different utilities, obviously. Fat Kia can steal once, but this is just, hey,
purely
let me see what you got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does open up to If Fax Machine, but that's one card.
True. Sonosuke. This is the fun one.
Oh yeah, you can discard a card and have it be some other card.
This is high A+. Your hand becomes a conglomerate hand of the rest of the table. And if Rurika's there, you also get her cards.
Yep. That is pretty good.
When you mulligan alongside the rest of the table. Like, it is insane. Super Strategy Guide? Mine.
Well, the only thing is it doesn't take away that use.
Yeah. And it is only midday.
Yeah, it is only midday.
Which, later when we get to Danganronpa and Another 2, there is a similar ability that isn't unlimited. But, Sonosuke is just good. Like...
It's
I'm gonna put him...
item card hands.
Yeah, I'm gonna put him next to Chihiro. And that's Danganronpa 3. Now it's time for the smallest deck, the novels. Ryoko, first state. No second state, just first state right now. Draw 2 extra cards at the start of the game. You have no hand limit. Any cards in your hand over 2 must be kept face down. If it's face down, you can't use or look at it. If you play a card, flip a face down card so it's face up. This is like... it's just fun. It's loot boxes.
Yeah.
You get to draw extra cards.
Like, it's not super powerful. Unless you get,
it's
like,
not
combo cards.
Yeah. It's just like... I want to put her next to Kibo up in A+. Because Kibo has a hand limit of 3 and draws 3 at the start. And though you have to keep cards face down, you don't always know what you have. You get 4, and you don't have a hand limit. Like, it's just a ton of cards. And having a bunch of cards is good for many reasons. Next up, Ishiki. If you're killed by the blackened, you may discard an item card to treat yourself as you're still alive. Your role card is still active. If you do this, you cannot vote in any more class trials. So, you don't die, but you don't get votes after you get killed.
Right.
So, if you have a card, the only reason the Blackened would kill you is if they don't want you voting.
Well, no, if you... well, yeah, I guess so. But also, it creates tricky situations, because the best case scenario with this card is that you're the alter ego and you can do this.
Yeah.
So it would force the Blackened to attack you again if they want to shut you up.
Right.
Which, keep in mind, does still count for a point.
It does still count for points, yes. With this, couldn't you technically kill the same person 3 times and win?
If it got refreshed, yeah.
Yeah. If they refresh it and you get more item cards.
But then again, you're killing somebody that has no voting power.
Yeah. It's a strong ability for a reason. Like,
like, I would say this is A+.
Yeah, easily.
Because it can be useful on any side. Like, if you want to be a Despair and continue to fuck with people, then you can.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it next to Rentaro and Sayaka. And Yasuke. If another player plays an investigation item card, you may take it and use it yourself instead. Junko Enoshima and Ryoko Otanashi may wake up and watch any non-roll ability investigations you do. So, this is a bit of a mean effect. You just steal somebody else's investigation card.
Right.
It's dependent on people playing investigation cards.
Well,
but...
the thing is, most people, like, this card I don't think is that big of a deterrent because people want to play investigation cards.
Yeah, people want investigations to happen, whether it's you or Yasuke.
Right. And then there's the Junko effect, which does come into play because we do have a lot of iterations of Junko.
Yeah. I think I'm going to put him right next to Ryota in A-. It's like the Mon Emergency, but you just do it yourself. You don't get multiple, but people can watch you in certain situations.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. Small selection of 3. Nothing from Killer Killer or Kirigiri.
Maybe in the future.
Maybe in the future.
We're actually thinking about Kirigiri, so...
Yeah. Next up, the Remnants of Despair.
I love these
cards.
Are going to be weird.
Yeah, these
First
are going
of all,
to be weird.
The art is amazing.
The art is great. They all have custom tokens. They're all great and cool. The interesting thing is that I can't use the traditional Danganronpa tier list for this, because these aren't second states for the original characters. These are just whole new characters.
Right.
Well, anyway, let's get started. We got 15 of them. Starting with Despair Mikon.
Maybe 16
Blood
in the future.
Maybe 16. Who knows? Once per day, you may choose a living player and flip a coin. If heads, their ability is refreshed. If tails, you discard a card and nothing else happens. You can't use your ability if you have no item cards. Drop to hand limit every time a Junko dies. Overall pretty neat, honestly.
I would
It's
say
a coin flip.
they are a refresher, but I would put them below Jin just because of the unpredictability, even though it is every day.
You mean the Fedora guy?
Sorry, Koichi. Yeah.
Yeah, Koichi.
Yeah. And also, it runs into the same kind of situation of if there's no good choices for Mikon on the table, then it doesn't really do too much.
Yeah.
Although the other, forcing yourself to discard could be good. And it could be used for signaling.
It's like, it's honestly just, it's like Koichi, but it's a coin flip between having to discard or getting your ability.
Yeah. Like, there have been some games where I was this card and I just kind of drew somebody's blood for the heck of it.
Yeah. B plus next to Koichi. Next up is Imposter. Your name, series, and talent are whatever you want it to be at any given time for the purpose of character synergies, but you may only change it once per day. If you're impersonating a character already on the table, you must do a convincing impersonation of them to get the synergy effect. So, this is an interesting case, because he is useless in games without synergies, but he can be great in games where there are characters with good synergies.
Yeah, and there are a lot of characters that do have synergies.
So, totaling up, like, the best case scenarios and the worst case scenarios.
Well, there's stuff like Himiko Yumeno, there's stuff like Kyoko Saionji, Aoi and Sakura, there's stuff like Junko Enoshima, any kind of Junko Enoshima.
Yeah, synergy. Lots of Junko Enoshimas.
Like, there aren't that many bad synergies.
Yeah, there are 2 characters and V3 characters.
Well, you can get, like, the Chiya... Well... You are already from Super Danganronpa 2, so... But, I mean, you could get it again. What else? Little Ultimates?
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of options there. But it's definitely a card that you kind of pick after people have already picked.
Exactly. And in the situations where you look at the table and say, alright, I want to play Imposter, I think he's A-.
Yeah.
Having no ability kind of hurts, but getting synergies is neat.
Yeah, you can get any synergy you want. Although, right. I guess it could be said that you could just pick the character that gets the synergy. Like, it's really only useful if you want multiple.
Exactly. If there's a table where there are multiple different synergies, then you pick Imposter. But otherwise, just pick a character from the series. Pick the actual target.
Right.
Despair Pekka. Blind loyalty. You may negate a negation or redirection of the Blackened's attack, unless you yourself are the target. When you die, you may whisper a message to Fuyuhiko. You're limited to 1 sentence. So, this is already better than Monodam.
Like you said, Monodam's kind of a meme card.
Monodam's a meme. This is a meme, but a little bit better. Because negating negations or redirections. Monodam is just negations, and you redirect it to the right. But you can make sure that whoever is dying will die. Which is pretty good, honestly.
Yeah, it's good for if you're the Blackened, honestly.
It's good if you're the Blackened. It's good if you think the person targeted is a Despair.
Mm-hmm. Using it can be difficult, though, because with some of these Remnants of Despair cards, I mean, they are despairful actions.
Yeah, I think it's a top of B-. Despair Sonia. Discard a card and publicly choose another living player. If at any point in the following morning you are the target of the Blackened's attack, the player you chose is now the target. So, this is the this is an anti-Robo-Justice.
It's nice. It's a redirect to wherever you want it to be.
But
you're basically saying the Blackened, I dare you.
Exactly.
This actually has the potential to be kind of a nicer Masaru, because instead of straight out killing the Blackened, you can just make it like, I think you're the Blackened. If you attack me, you're just going to kill yourself.
Yeah. It's a nice T prevention also. Like, if you think there's a Boba out on the board, you pick the person to your left. Your left or your right? Boba goes left, so... No, left T is...
Right. Left T doesn't exist unless you're Celestia.
Exactly. If you think there's a Boba, you just pick the person to your left. So that way, if Boba goes off, it's like, no, you.
I think this is an A card.
Yeah. Like, protection effects, I will say it's weaker than, like, Kazuichi, but it's still A+.
At the very least, it prevents you from dying.
Yeah.
But it doesn't prevent somebody from dying.
Ransom. Choose another living player. They may accept the ransom to gain the effects. They cannot be targeted by the Blacken tonight. Negate protection effects on the players to the left and right. Blacken's attack cannot be redirected tomorrow. So, this is like extreme Devil Deal Tenko. It's just, hey, you want to not die? You're ratting out the two people next to them.
Right.
So, I think it is inherently a bit weaker than Hiroko. Because Hiroko, you just get the perfect. It's like you discard a card, but you're protected.
Like, this card kind of exists for people that like the servant but don't want to play the whole servant meta.
Yeah. I think it's still A-. Despite the fact of it being extremely, like, despair-sided. It's a solid A-. Despair Akane. Negate any protection effects on the people to your left and right. Apply them to yourself. Draw a card anytime a player to your left or right dies. This is interesting.
Because it's like...
yeah. It's like Kazuichi, but instead of taking a Robo Justice or a Golden Gun, you just take any protection effects locally.
Which is usually Robo Justice or Golden Gun.
Yeah. Unless there's like a hair ties or something.
Yeah, hair ties or any kind of like ability effect.
Yeah. I think it's A+ next to Kazuichi. Because, like...
The card draw is just kind of icing.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of Kazuichi, when you die, choose living players. Each targeted player randomly discards a card. The Anti-Future Foundation.
Yeah, nobody's played this one yet.
Right. I can see why you wouldn't want to nuke 3 players' hands if you're a good guy, but... in considering discard effects, I think it's at least a solid B+.
Right. But is it fun?
It's not. Like, randomly discarding cards. Nobody likes being the person who plays a Dreamland rocket, you know?
I don't know. There are a few people that seem to really like playing the Dream Island rocket.
I guess, yeah, but... I don't know. I think this is weaker than Gozu because you have to die for it.
Yeah.
So you're out of the game. You're not talking anymore. So I think it's B+ next to like a... Damn, I guess next to Dangan.
Yeah, we might take a look at this one, because thus far, like, nobody's played it. And if it's not a fun ability, then we just need to look at it.
Yeah. Gundam. Despair Gundam. When you die, draw 2 cards. While you're dead, you have no hand limit. You may play item cards while dead. Permanent rations. Draw 2 cards when you die. This is good for if you're not talking much anyways.
Yeah. Most of the time, Despair is going to get use out of this, though. Because the only reason Despair doesn't do Despair things is because they get caught. Once you've been caught, then there's really nothing to worry about.
Yeah. So, draw 2 effect. Even if you're dead, and you still get to play the cards. So, it's a draw 2 effect. I think I'll put it up in A-. Despair Hyoko. Choose another player that has at least one card. They must play an item card in the current time period if they can. If they can't, you draw an item card. So, it has the nice like safety guarantee of like a Toei Makoto's kind of.
Yeah,
Oh,
if it doesn't work, just draw a card.
yeah.
I like this one because a lot of conversations in Dangan Werewolf tend to revolve around, like, I had this funny card, I had this card, I gave this card, I did this card, and being able to listen to that and make people play cards they might not want to play is powerful.
Yeah. Like, forcing a play and then... I think it goes next... It's like a similar genre of like Byakuya or Ruruka, you know?
You can force somebody to play a Despair Bad because most of the time when people have Despair Bad, they just say it.
Yeah. Next up, Despair Ibuki. When you use this ability, today's discussion will last for X minutes, where X is the number of item cards that all players discard to just increase the timer. This is fun. This reminds me of like an incident.
I like
just,
that this is potentially hope or despair.
Exactly. It's like, oh, just hope I have a bunch of bad cards. Alright, discard them all, let's have a lot of talking time. Or, oh, hope doesn't have any cards left, I'm gonna play a Despair Bat. It's great. It's a nice big brain ability.
It's also just fun. Like, it doesn't require too much skill to use.
Yeah. I'm gonna put it next to, again, I think this one deserves to be right next to Kiyotaka. A little bit above.
Uh-huh. Why above? Because it could also Despair Bad.
Yeah, more versatility. It isn't just a G-Stick. Despair Mahiru. Whenever a player dies, randomly take one of their item cards. You may pass it to any remnant of Despair or Junko. So, this is, Grave Robbery Monica.
It's half Monica with passing.
Yeah. You get to draw cards at the start. And usually when people die, they still have at least like one item card. You get first dibs on stealing, so that's already a big plus.
Yeah, usually Graves get sacked.
Yeah. Honestly, like, Monica A-, I think this is better than Monica.
Because if somebody held onto their card, it's probably a good one.
Yeah. Like, they're saving it. It could be bad, but, like, you can just pass it to another remnant to signal. I think this goes up next. Yeah, up next to a little bit above Maki in A-. Actually, no, I can't say A-. This is an A+ ability. A+ next to Mew. Lots of card draw. Lots of card steal. Card steal is arguably better than card draw.
Yeah.
Despair for Yuhiko. You may negate the effects of a played nighttime item and draw a card. Limited negate, and you get a draw. Like,
it's simple, but it's effective. Nighttime items are usually pretty important.
Yeah. And the fact that you get to draw is like icing on the cake.
Uh-huh.
I think this is a little bit better than Ifumi. Because Ifumi just negates any item. This is negate night items, and you draw. Draw one card's like a little boon. It's like a little plus to your card. So, A- above Hifumi.
Yeah.
Despair Teru. Whenever someone plays a food or drink item, you may change the effect to draw an item card. This includes black croissants. You will start the game with a food or drink of the headmaster's choice. This is just fun, I think.
It's fun, but I think that there are a lot of situations where it could be useful. Like, this is a negate, unlimited use negate. It
Unlimited
affects,
despair of food.
It affects important items like salt, mineral water, ketchup.
Yeah. There are a lot of cards where you would want to negate, where you can also just illusion rod.
Uh-huh.
Territory is great, I think. This territory gets to be above the
Like, you
old
could
territory.
take speaking away from the alter ego if you wanted.
Yeah, exactly. I think it goes A-. Low A-, but still A-. Despair Zuru. You start the game with no item cards. You're immune to all card, ability, and other effects except for roll abilities or cards that you play. If you're playing with Despair diseases, you choose if you start the game with a disease card.
I think this is S.
Yeah, this is the ultimate don't touch me.
Yeah, it's the ultimate, like, I just want to play a game without the weird card, item,
I don't
draw,
like
all
cards.
this other shit. Just leave me alone. I just want to play the game.
I just want to play Town of Salem, man.
Yeah, I do.
Like,
and you can have fun with diseases if you want, or you could just decide not to be involved in that either.
exactly. Like, this is like...
Do you not like certain parts of the game? Well, you just don't have to play with them then.
Yeah, this is like pure infinite negation.
Although, Izuru could shoot you, or Mukuro.
Yeah. That's why Mukuro
wait,
stays...
no, actually, no, you're immune to that.
Yeah. His entire ability is immunity, which is fitting. Yeah, S easily. I'm gonna put it next to Makoto. Actually, you know what? No, this goes above Masaru. Because I think it's indicative of every single thing below this he is not affected by.
Yeah.
Kurokuma talks whether you want him to or not. Mukuro negates everything decisively. Mukuro gets to choose whether or not to negate, so she can still benefit from positive things. This is... nothing happens at all to you. Ultra Instinct. As easily.
And you could potentially still get cards somehow.
Yeah, exactly, and you can play cards. Like, that's the best thing, you can play cards. And lastly, Despair Nekomaru. Instruction. Choose another player. For the rest of today, they must use their ability as soon as possible. This does not count as them expending their ability, and it may be used again. This cannot be refreshed. So, this is a forceful werewolf.
It used to be that Ryota had this ability, but people didn't like it because their ability was taken away, basically.
Yeah. This one, refreshing it makes it better.
Yeah.
But it's like... there are some times you don't want to use your ability.
Uh-huh.
This is kind
of like a Samugi on the board a little bit.
It's like hostage tactics. It's I'm going to make you use this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is A+ easily.
Really?
I think I'm gonna put him... yeah. Because, sure, ability negation is cool, but forcing abilities can be just as useful.
Uh-huh.
Because, yeah. I'm gonna put it next to Peko in A+. And that's it for the Remnants of Despair. Now, nearing the end, we've got Danganronpa another 2. Starting with the protagonist.
Now, I'm gonna forewarn you that I don't endorse these cards. I make sure that they're not completely broken. I didn't make these.
For the most part, I like them. They're fun abilities.
Yeah, I mean, they're fine. It's just I'm not that involved in Danganronpa another 2 or any of the other like Fangen stuff. So to me, these cards are just kind of like, eh.
They're in the world download, so I'm counting them a little bit above homebrew. So they get to be here. Alright, starting with Sora. Amnesia. Once per day, you may flip a card in your hand face down. Cards added to your hand are flipped face down. In the morning, flip all face down cards in your hand face up. Face down cards cannot be interacted with and don't count towards the hand limit. So, this is interesting. Like, inevitably comparing to Ryoko for similar uses of face down cards to represent Amnesia.
Yeah.
Where Ryoko's makes it into loot boxes, this one is protection, I think. Protection and no hand limit. So you can technically have a hand limit of 3 as Sora, you just can't play one of your cards at a time. Especially since it's in any time. You can hold on, like, if you got a super strategy guide, you can just keep flipping it face down till the last day and then use it. Like, there are a lot of cases where you don't want to use an item immediately and you're scared of it getting stolen. That is where Sora shines.
I suppose that makes sense.
And for that, it's solid, I think. I don't think it's A+, but easily top of A-. I'll put it next to Mahir in A-. We got Emma. Immediately end the time period, accept the class trial by saying cut. Items and abilities declared after this are not expended. This ability cannot be copied, but it can be refreshed. So, this is interesting.
I think this is powerful.
Yeah, it's negation in a way.
Well, prevention.
Yeah, prevention.
And that's a prevention.
I love that it is not strictly a despair bat.
Well, it can't be a despair bat. It can never be a despair bat.
I think that it has a lot of interesting uses. Like, if you don't want night items to go, you can just do it at night. If you don't want a midday discussion to happen, like day 1, you can cut that. Morning, you want someone to die? Bam, cut. No one can play items after it, so they're dead.
This seems to be mostly a despair-sided ability.
Yeah. Despair-sided abilities are fine.
They are, yeah.
Where'd we put Sparkling Justice?
I don't remember.
Next to Peko.
Right, yeah, of course.
So, whereas hers is card draw and sometimes you despair bat, I don't know. It is a bit of a loose connection, but I think being able to end time periods is very powerful negation. Better than Hifumi, easily.
I mean...
Hifumi's his reaction,
Hifumi's just gets rid of the card. Emma makes it so they can't use the card until the next period.
Yeah, this is like a Ruruka, right?
It is like a Ruruka. It's like everybody Ruruka.
Yeah.
Everybody Ruruka, all the time. 100 years Ruruka.
Indiscriminate Ruruka.
Hey, I need to turn the air conditioning on. I'll be back, but you go ahead.
Alrighty. But yeah, everybody Ruruka. A bit better in some ways, a bit worse. You can't target specific ones, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this as A- below Ruruka, but like right next to her. Next up is Hajime the Boxer, not Hajime Hinata. Show match. Choose another player. Both of you discard a card face up. If you have more than one card, both players look at each other's hands and choose which card is discarded. Very interesting.
Okay, so what's this one do? I've never seen
You
anybody
discard
play
a card face. You choose somebody. Both of you discard a card face up. You look at each other's hands and choose which is discarded. So this is like a weird Dream Island Rocket situation where you make somebody reveal a card and lose it, and they get to do the same to you. So it immediately makes me think of Akane. Where Akane is steal a card, this is reveal a card. I think
okay, so this is not both, this is an either or. Both of you discard an item card face up. If you have more than one item card, both players look at each other's hands and choose which card is discarded.
If you have two cards and they have one card, they just discard their one card, but they get to choose which of your two cards you do.
Right.
So you want to do this when you have a bad hand, obviously.
Yeah. Which happens more often than you'd think.
Yeah. I think this is solid A- next to Akane and Juzo. Face up reveals are very good. And equivalent discard effects, well, not the best. The fact that it is face up. And you get to choose. Random discards, not as good as choosing discards. Hibiki. Duo gig. Choose two players. They discard an item, then draw an item. Kanade does not have to discard.
You kind of have to look at these two together.
Yeah. Passive. The first time you use your ability, it will be refreshed at the end of midday if Kanade is alive. Negate your ability if she is dead. And Kanade. You may activate this when you draw a card. Pass it to another player. They may pass any item to you afterwards. Note, may pass. While Hibiki is alive, your ability may be used any number of times per day. Negate it if she's dead. So this is interesting.
I don't like these characters. I mean, I don't know about the characters, but I don't like the ability because, to me, it just seems like a bunch of cards getting passed around. Like, when these two are on the table and they're using their abilities, I have to kind of just sit there and my eyes go cross while a bunch of cards fly around.
Yeah. I'll keep in mind their passive of just, like, having it a bunch of times. As it stands, I think that Hibiki's is stronger. Kanade's is like a weird sort of... I personally think it is worse second state, worse third state Hyoko. Third state Hyoko does it when they're above hand limit, so it's where you'd have to discard anyways. This is just anything you draw, you lose. And the person optionally gives you something back. They don't even have to. You just can't draw. Like,
I think that I feel like these two characters are just kind of meant to be played together. And this is actually a different version of what they were before, where like the ability just never went away. So they were just constantly doing this back and forth card shit.
But Hibiki... Choose two players to discard and draw a card. Just judging it as that ability alone, ignoring passive, it's fine.
I mean, it's fine. To me,
like,
it's just it's shuffling the cards around.
Yeah. It's like Miaya, but instead of giving a card to someone else, you just refresh one of your cards. And you get to do it twice. So that alone puts it A+ next to Miaya. And Kanade, worse than trying to find where I put the maid. Like, it is not that good, honestly. Like, when you draw, you can make it so the other person gets the card. It's like, cool, but when would you not want the card? It can be signaling, yes. It can be like a weird killing Imposter situation. But most of the time, you want your own cards. And if you're drawing, you're going to be ending up below hand limit in the first place. In most situations, third state Kyoko is better.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like a B-, honestly, above Mondo. On to a very powerful one. Kokoro, you die. Sorry.
I mean, yeah, most of the time you just die.
You activate this at the start of the class trial. Choose another player, view their role card. You may not speak or vote in this trial. So, in exchange for a silence effect, you get the best kind of role detection.
I don't.
Too bad you're gonna die. After.
I mean, this sounds like a good idea, but
it sounds like a good idea. But if somebody doesn't protect you, you are dead.
If somebody doesn't protect you, you're just dead. And
yeah.
A lot of times, the person that gets revealed, like if you pick somebody and they just die the next day and reveal your ability was for nothing.
Yeah. But that's not going to happen much because you're the one who's going to die.
Like most of the times that I've seen this ability, it was not of consequence.
Yeah. It feels
that being
strange.
said, it is powerful on paper.
Yeah, powerful on. It's strange to have to do this, but it is not A+. I'll put it. I think next to Maki is fitting.
Uh-huh.
Both of them are a little bit of death sentences, but this one is even more so. Mikado. Tonight you'll be woken up. View the item cards of another player and choose one of two actions. Then shuffle the deck. Deal them a card, then return one of their cards to the deck. Swap a card in their hand with another player's. Man, you're just like messing around with people, huh?
It's sort of a dice agent.
Yeah.
Or dice agent. Combination dice agent lurker.
Dice-ish agent.
Dice-ish agent, yeah.
So I think it's pretty good, honestly. Like, I can't, in good faith, put it... I think I'll put it next to Fat Kia. Well, no.
You do get that information, but also there's the chance that you don't know what card they get.
Yeah, nighttime looking, like moving stuff. But you don't know 100% what they get after. Yeah, it's B+ next to Fat Kia. Just a fine ability. Setsuka, Devil's Eye. Look at a random card in another player's hand. If this is activated by your passive, you may choose to view the card before or after the effect resolves. Whenever you target another player with an item, you may activate your ability targeting them without expending it. So, when you target people, you get free surveillance on them. Pretty neat, I'd say.
I'm surprised that you got that. Because I had to have, I think Trusty explained that to me like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah. Every card that targets people comes with the clause of look at a random item card in their hand. It is honestly...
I mean, it only happens once.
No. Activate your ability without expending. So when you target people with items, you get it for free.
Oh, or you could just do it and expend it.
You can just do it once, but you can also get it for free a bunch of times.
That's situation. That's RNG based on like if you get cards that do that.
Yeah. If Fax Machine is godly on her.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say near top of B+. Shinji, you and up to 3 other players volunteer for tonight. Only volunteers may be targeted by the blackened. Robo Justice has no effect on volunteers. Negate this if nobody else volunteers. So, hi, lawful good Masaru.
Yeah.
It's Masaru, but you get to like willingly do it.
Yeah, Masaru, but they get a choice.
So honestly, pretty great. I think this easily goes up next to like Tenko and Sakura up in A+. Like, sure, you might die, but you're protecting the rest of the table.
It is pretty selfless.
Yeah. Shobai. Discard 2 cards. Name an item, and if possible, draw it from the deck. You cannot name a passable item. Remember old Komaru?
Yeah.
Where you start with 2 cards picked from the deck?
I mean, this is pretty powerful, because if you at any point have 2 cards, you can just have any card.
Yeah. This is good for Hope and Despair.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey,
How's it going?
Currently rating item cards. We are at Super Danganronpa, another 2 cards, and at Shobai.
Oh, good luck.
Yeah. So, Shobai. Honestly, yeah, just a solid ability.
yeah.
You don't play many items as him, but the ones you do are curated.
I mean, A+ at least.
Yeah, at least A+.
Like, if you're Despair, there's no reason not to Despair bat with this.
Yeah. Teruya. Name a non-morning item. It cannot be played today. Iroha may use her ability on the item you name if someone else played it during the... as if somebody else played it during the appropriate time period. If you can figure out what cards people have, it's good. Otherwise, you can just blindly say, like, no Despair Bat, and then be hopeful.
Yeah, there is that.
So I already think it's better than Kiyotaka. So honestly, I think it's just a solid A-. Not too much to say about it. Yoriko. Karaoke contest. Unless someone's died today, challenge another player to a contest. If they accept, you are both given 30 seconds to sing, then hold a vote. The winner may draw a card.
This is
Hi, Despair Chisa.
this is C tier. And I put it as C tier just because I don't really care for it.
Nah, it's at least B- because you get to draw. C tier is like...
somebody does.
C tier is like Monodam and Monofunny. Like Jin. This at least has a guaranteed effect. Either someone else gets a card or you get a
But
card.
you have to sit through a minute of singing.
Yeah, it can be fun though.
It can.
I don't know.
I mean, yeah, it can be fun. If you're on a table where you play like that,
Yeah.
then that's fine.
B-. It's not great. Many other characters are better, but it's fun. Yuki. Until the morning of the 3rd day, you cannot be targeted by role abilities except Alter Ego and Blackened. Inverted Makoto.
I don't know anything
Very,
about this guy.
very dependent on what roles are at the table.
Yeah.
Like, extremely, extremely dependent on roles at the table. Most of the time, there's like a Togami or a Master Program in most games that people play, so you're at a disadvantage.
Yeah, the most despairful like roles you could block with this. You could block Nurse, Monocup Master, Mono Beasts, Dice Agent, stuff like that.
Yeah. So overall, he's like, at least it does something, so I can't put it in C.
I think it's
C
a
is
B.
just, yeah, B-. Yuri. When you're targeted by an item or ability a male played, you may activate this to negate it. At the start of the game, choose a female player. Unless your ability is expended, they may redirect items and abilities targeting them to you. So, the passive I think is more interesting than the normal.
Yeah.
Because normal is just like Hifumi only for guys, and you can do it for abilities too.
Yeah, I think
Well, I
that
guess
the
it's more-
passive is more interesting.
Yeah. Passive is choose a female player. They can redirect items and abilities targeting them to you.
And the game
So
kind of
most of the
leads
time
more
you're being
towards
a fall
female characters anyway. So
Yeah. Most of the time you're being a fall man for somebody. You're taking bad effects. But you're protecting them. So... I think it's just a funny low B+ card. Next up, Nikkei. Choose another player. Tonight, both of you will wake up. You may ask them 2 questions publicly. They must answer by moving their token to yes, no, or another player on the table.
this
So-
is C+, maybe B-. This is a meme card.
You can kind of signal with it, but
I mean, you can. Most of
You
the
can
time,
discuss that.
players just kind of like you can try with it and maybe get a little good information out of it, but it's not true information, and also people can just meme you with it.
yeah, B-. Again, it does something. The bar is not very hard for B tier.
Not for
It's just-
you.
Does your ability do something most of the time? Iroha. When another player plays an item card, you may discard the player as if it was your own.
It's
So-
Sonosuke.
Yeah, remember when you were
It's
talking about
anytime
Sonosuke?
Sonosuke, yeah.
What if Sonosuke could copy a strategy guide?
Yeah. It's strictly
Iroha
better
is
Sonosuke.
inherently
Although
powerful.
Sonosuke is infinite, this isn't.
Right? But this can do extremely important items.
Yeah.
So, that alone, I'm putting her next to Sonosuke in A+. The single use is worth the trade-off, especially since it can be refreshed.
Yeah. Nighttime and trial items are super important.
Yeah. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. The Dangan deck. Yes, we are rating these. So, Mike Naegi, you can do it! You're the super duper lucky student.
I mean, being able to do it is pretty powerful.
Yeah, you can do it, you know?
Like, I think
Like-
we would give him I think a 12.
12's fine, yeah.
Yeah.
Amy Duncan, you can look at your own items whenever you want. This includes nighttime, because it's whenever you want.
Yeah, whenever
So
you want. As long
you
as
can
you
do
only
it
look at
after-
your items, you can't wake up and look at anything else. So,
Yeah.
because of that, it being that situational, I think this one deserves.
Well, you can tell, like,
3.
if you got targeted by, like, Dice Agent or by Togami
Well, you can tell that
before
in the
you-
morning, though.
before you even wake up.
Yeah, before you wake up. I think this one gets 3 pigs.
Valid.
Yeah.
3 donuts. Richie Gates. You can choose someone and then say something to them. Wow, infinite public message into bottles. This is at least 15.
Right, 15 what's, though?
15.
Okay.
15
15
monies.
15s.
Yes. Clara Escargot. If you have a roll card, you can secretly look at it. Finally, the amnesiac counter. That deserves at least 5 poker chips.
Mhm.
Charlie Fuji. If someone says something to you, you can respond or not respond to it. Whatever you choose.
I think the versatility on this one, like, you can choose not to.
And you
is
can choose
pre-
to.
Yeah, it's pretty big that you have that
Good
versatility.
synergy with Richie Gates.
Yeah.
I think this is worth
In
at
fact,
least...
I think this is like a Richie Gates counter pick.
True. I think this is at least 12 gigabytes of RAM.
Mhm.
William Ebe. If someone plays an item, you can publicly reveal the name of the item they just played. This counters Kokichi and Tease, so it's already pretty high up. Like Tease, anything is secret. He gets to see. He knows all. I think he is at least 20 volumes of an obscure fan comic.
I think he's like 50 volumes of One Piece.
True. If the bully wins the game, and you are the bully, you win the game. So,
It can be a little hard to get this condition to go off, but when it does, it is
yeah, you
so
get to win the game.
satisfying.
Yeah. You can be like, I told you so. I was the bully. I won. Next up. Whenever someone votes, they have to say I voted. Then they get a sticker. Thinking about it, this is like a bit of a soft counter to like neutrals. Because neutrals usually have to think harder about who they vote.
Right. And you can use the stickers for signaling.
Yeah, you can target somebody with the sticker. Teddy Monitor. If someone breaks the rules, you can complain about it really loud and maybe someone will do something.
Yeah, this one is a little inconsistent. Because
GM dependent.
Yeah, it is GM dependent.
I think he's only worth 2 minutes in detention. KDO clues. If you think somebody is the bully, you can say who you think it is. Doesn't say a time period, so you could probably just say it whenever.
We may need to blow through the rest of these because I actually do have an engagement right now.
Okay,
So
8 left.
I'm gonna
Let's
go through these. So it's Leon. He's 15 soccer balls. Mondo is 1 banana peel. Mukuro, good for signaling, can get everybody wet. She is an upside down frowny face.
Immune to weakness disease.
Yeah, immune to weakness disease. That's already huge. Sakura is a solid 5 out of 7.
Kurokuma out of Kurokuma.
Right. Samantha Matthews, really pretty hair. I don't even know what her ability does. I'm not even looking at it. She is 15 chocolate bars. Bully Clippers, making somebody do a thing. That's great. She's a 12.
No limit. It's an infinite.
Yeah. Toko, I would say she is 1 solar eclipse out of 7.
I think her book is a 7.
Right.
And Connor Man.
Connor Man
He's the
really,
neutral winner.
Yeah, really good manners, nice to his mom. Just really outstanding member of the community. He is half a pig.
He's an 8-ball out of billiard set.
Right.
Alright, so
And with that,
there's...
we've rated every character card in Dangan Werewolf.
Next up, we'll go the item deck.
Yeah, see you there.